What's up? What is up, everybody? NC, JC, and we are back with a Triple H is a bad booker. I'm sure a lot of people were expecting us to do a Triple H is a bad booker on Baron Corbin being released. Andy Hart will be released. Nixon will be released, but we're not. Because we already did a Triple H is a bad booker way back ago on Baron Corbin. Hell of a loss. The other two, not so much. Yeah, not really. So let's go ahead and talk about what I call NXT 3.0. That's when they officially got that silver NXT logo. They got it going on CW. When that officially started, in my opinion, and you started seeing right at the very end, you saw executive producer John Paul Levesque, then you see Lee Fitting, and then at the very bottom, Shawn Michaels. That let me know as soon as NXT hit CW, Noseman's like, all right, I'm gonna fuck it up. That was his cue, man, and he did. He's turning into fucking garbage. He's turning that used to be that women's roster was fucking hot. They used to be very, very attractive. Now, turning the ugly fucking bull-like looking bitches, the Jordan Graces, the Zarias. He's fucking it up. But this is what Noseman does. When he's doing the main roster, Shayna Baszler is always dark. This is just what he fucking does. And honestly, this is why I don't watch NXT 3.0. I don't watch NXT anymore. Like, I can't. I try to watch it. Honestly, God, I try to watch a little bit. It bored me about 10 minutes in, and I turned it off. I can't watch NXT anymore. Well, I will say this much. I was saying on a previous stream that I have no desire to watch this Triple H tainted version of NXT. I have no desire at all, but I was like, I need to know what I'm talking about going into this. So I decided to brave this morning. I woke up, I went ahead, and I put on the latest episode of NXT on CW, the October 29th episode. Just played in the background while I was getting ready for the shows later on today. And just, you could tell right off the bat that Triple H tainted what usually were entertaining shows. Like under Shawn Michaels, I felt that the NXT Halloween Havocs, like whether it was one episode or two episodes back to back, were always pretty entertaining. I thought that he really brought out the goofy character stuff, the fun stuff, while Triple H always brought out the stale when it came to the Halloween stuff. And this show was no exception. They literally opened right up with the match, no setup. 5 minutes in, they're like, oh, this is why the match is happening, and showed a recap from last week. They had a pre-taped Gigi Dolan intro segment, so they couldn't even get Gigi Dolan to come out and do anything for this show, because I guess she already did her appearance for the previous show. So her as the host of this Halloween Havoc, which is 2 days away from Halloween, but it makes sense to have her on the fucking show. They don't have her on there, just a video package. So you got this fucking, what I think is one of the few decent matches opened up. It was Tatum versus Sleep Witch, and it was a casting match. It was fairly entertaining. I thought Tatum was entertaining. And then like after that, they showed off just meaningless tag team matches. They had one of the worst main events ever. They had Axiom and Nathan Frazier versus Cedric Alexander and Javon Evans for the tag titles. What the fuck? That is Noseman 100% right there. So fucking lame. Well, yeah, just what he does is fucking lame. Because for him, what he likes is the in-ring action, not the storytelling, not the promos, not the. For him, it's get in there and put on a clinic. And you see Shawn Michaels marking out to Ela Dragunov going, whoa. Like, I remember that. I remember shit like that. It's not a surprise to me or my brother about what the fuck Triple H is doing to the show. He really fucking needs to be fired. He does not. He has no intention to make this cater to a larger audience. And the only reason why they're getting these great attendances is because AEW is just putting on such a fucking bad show. If they actually were competitive with WWE, you would not be seeing these record-breaking sellouts with WWE's getting. It wouldn't be happening. Oh no. Well, then that's the thing with NXT is it's got this tiny fucking crowd. And trust me, we'll show you. Look at the floor. Tiny fucking crowd for Halloween Havoc. They have the biggest stars on the show are people that were either a part of WWE beforehand or used to be on the main roster and got kicked down because creative has nothing for them. Such as the case of Cedric Alexander. When that's one of the big stars on your show, that's a problem. When you have Bubba Ray Dudley come in and his conditions to be on the show and compete for the ECW show is they gotta put over Bust Open Radio, that's a fucking problem. There's no fucking reason why they should be putting over some fucking Mark podcast on NXT. What the fuck is this shit? It was so fucking Mark that they were putting that shit on. And then my favorite was the random setup for some 10-woman tag team matchup. Like just having just random women come out and talk shit about each other with nothing there. Roxanne, after all this time, she's the NXT champion. She cut the fucking weakest promo. Fallon Henley made her look like a spring chicken. I couldn't believe the fucking rookie holds the title. Yeah, the North American Women's Champion cuts a way fucking better promo than the NXT Women's Champion. How the fuck is that? Makes no sense at all. But then my favorite, you bring in Zarya and you bring in Jordan Grace. And then you have a backstage segment with Rhea Ripley congratulating them on being an awesome team. Was this for Triple H's cock? That's what it felt like. Yeah, guaranteed. And even like the rating for this, it came in. And we'll get into that rating, and it's not very good. I wouldn't be bragging about it. Well, all this setup, they tried to push a couple things for the ECW show, but when all you really got is Bubba Ray in a tag team match, RVD is a special guest referee, and then Dawn Marie is a special guest referee, and then maybe an appearance by Nunzio, who gives a fuck? What kind of fucking ECW show is that? You don't have Sabu, you don't have Sandman, you don't have anybody that was actually kind of excited. Well, RVD's okay, but say you have him as a special guest referee, but who cares? I don't want to see him as a special guest referee of Wesley versus Javon Evans. That is Triple H kickflip bullshit 101. And notice this, JC. Did you notice as soon as NXT went on CW, he started weeding out all the black champions? Immediately got the title off of Obafemi, right? And then he sets up Cedric and Javon to face off against Nathan and Axiom just a job. Just for like, hey, here's a fucking useless job for you. Oh, and God, what's another one? It's just with this roster, he's already starting to favor his NXT black and gold UK motherfuckers. He even brought Rich Holland in. I don't know why Rich Holland is over in NXT, but Rich Holland is now part of a stable with Ethan Page or friends with him for some reason. I don't know what the fuck these guys have in common, but there they are. They're a tag team. They're going to be competing against fucking Trick Williams and Bubba Ray Dudley. Why? It's because he's a horrible booker. He's got, and this thing too is like, for the TV shows, I think Shawn runs those. I think Shawn runs TV shows. But these pay-per-views, and apparently the Halloween Havoc was a pay-per-view. It was on Sunday. You're right. Yes, it was on Sunday, and then, but still, why can't you have somebody for actually the episode before Halloween? Does it make sense? It's 2 days before Halloween. Just do something. Well, I think what they want to do is like fill an arena for that, because like I think what they did is they booked that arena and probably like, okay, well, we probably got a good rate if we book it for another day, and we'll have NXT do their show there, on Saturday or Sunday, and then Raw will be there on Monday. So they probably got a good deal for it, I would imagine. But and I'm not opposed to doing these big shows like that in a bigger arena. I'm fine with that. The problem that I have is that when this fucking lackluster and boring and really nothing interesting happens, that's kind of the problem that I have with it. But yeah, it's like it seems to me that Triple H books the pay-per-views for all the for NXT for the main roster, and then he's got to get his fucking fingers involved even into NXT stuff. So I think that's what's going on here. I think Noseman fucking got involved with the pay-per-view booking. I think he leaves TV shows booking alone. Not this one, bro. I watched this one. I honestly think that Triple H has been pushing his influence since now they're on the CW. He kind of wants to be like, yeah, I'm overseeing it, so it's gonna be quality now. That's what he's going for. But you can see even on this past show where Shawn's influence came through. I love it how Shawn was probably the one that recommended that Rhea Ripley get beat down in the parking lot, and all the nerds online were like, wow, how come we're seeing this plot device on a random NXT that no one's gonna fucking watch, and we're not seeing it on Raw? Exactly. And that's the thing too is like if you really wanted to, do this on Raw. Do it on Raw. If you really wanted to, and they used to do this like back in the bring Tiffany Stratton up to the main roster. I think they did it for Jay one time too. But yeah, like if you want to do that, bring up the fucking main roster, start the feud there, then you can bring more people from the main roster that are watching that over to NXT. The way they're doing this makes zero fucking sense, but it's Triple H that we're talking about, so, he's got Nick Khan to bail him out. Well, and further proof that I think that this is definitely more influenced by Triple H is look at who they're signing. Recently, they went ahead and they signed Stephanie Beck here, they signed Julia, and they signed Zarya. All three of them are indie darlings. None of them came up through the PC. All of them are like, oh, one of them came from CMLL, another one was a hot star in the Australian Indies, and another one's real big over in Japan. So it's like, it's anytime you see that international bullshit go on, that's Triple H. What he's trying to do is he's trying to build up faces for these other branches of NXT, whether it be NXT Japan, NXT Mexico. He's eventually trying to build up faces for those brands, so you just ship them right over there, and you have your quote-unquote draws for each of those companies. But like seeing shit like that told me right there, and then you add in WWE ID system, that tells me right there that Triple H is like, fuck you to the PC Center. I don't give a fuck about any of these talents that Shawn Michaels has spent years building up. I don't care about any of his fucking plans. He's lucky to still be here. I would, I would think that maybe in due time, instead of seeing Shawn Michaels underneath Lee Fitting, you're going to see CM Punk. Yep, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking too. Because notice how CM Punk is getting more and more and more involved with NXT. I think that Triple H is not doing things the way Shawn is not doing things the way that Triple H wants them to be done. So I think they're looking for a new vision under CM Punk. Now, that could very well happen. I still think that CM Punk is still going to have a wrestling career before he does that. I think that's more like 5 years down the road. Oh, absolutely. I definitely think that that's something that he's definitely eyeing, especially when he steps out of the ring. He doesn't want to go to commentating. He already did that for some Canadian cage fighting indie. He really wants to take the power, and he knows that Triple H will give him the power. That's as easy as it is. They're already buttering up. Like government on the last news, he's already got a reconstructor contract. They're looking at keeping this guy in various aspects and trying to have him mentor new talent. So already see what's happening with him. So you know what he's got planned. No, we know what he's got planned. And the thing is, I think that Triple H is just looking for any indie talent he can find, any indie stars that AEW does not have. I think he's going to, and I think that's going to be the next thing too. Is you're going to start to see some AEW people going over to WWE in droves. Oh yeah, well they're already eyeing it. I mean, because Tony, he can pay a lot, and he can offer them some sort of security at least for the next 5 years or so. At least they think they have the next 5 years. But with WWE, they're always going to be around in some capacity. That's one thing that we've always said. Even if they're on PBS around 10 years from now, they're still going to be around. They're still going to have something going on. That's just how it is. We need to accept that WWE will find a way to survive no matter what. All these other companies, I think Tony will just because of his bank account, but TNA, who knows? They might have to be a part of WWE to survive, like be a sister brand. Who knows? Well, the thing too with TNA is they have the wrestling. They own TNA. They're a corporation, and they're probably going to be wanting to make. I think what they're going to do now, what it looks getting close. What I think they're doing right now with TNA, little side, but it'll find is that they're trying to make it look more and more professional, more and more of a big production, so they can get a TV deal, so that they'll start making money on it. If that doesn't happen, I would expect a sale to WWE. I think that's what Triple H may be doing. Is he may be kind of getting that ball in motion of, hey, what you do to me? I think that could be what's going on here. I don't know. Noseman is infamous for slowballing, so I don't know if they'll take the offer. We'll see what happens, but I definitely think that could be a part of Noseman's strategy. I mean, he's obviously trying to make all these overseas deals. I mean, he's got something going with Noah right now. He's trying to get something going with CMLL. I mean, he's just trying to get shit going in every fucking area that he can. In any continent that has wrestling, he's trying to get a deal going and get an in-way so he can try to get his version of NXT over there. And it's sad that we see this going on. We see what once was a great company in 2.0 is at least they were developing new talent. I'm sure you had some goofy Bruce Pritchard shit from time to time. It's NXT. You're gonna have the Nickelodeon acting. It's to be expected, but at least you had something that had a flow to it. With this shit, this last show I watched, it's no different than SmackDown. It's just literally different stars on a smaller stage. That's all it is. Oh, for sure. I mean, that just goes to show you that maybe the indication is who's running the show. If it looks like SmackDown on a smaller stage, maybe the same people running it. Maybe the same person who's running creative for SmackDown is running NXT. It very well could be the case. There's no maybe. I mean, literally the same people that are producing SmackDown, Lee Fitting and Shawn Levesque. You watch the end of NXT, you'll see those two names plus Shawn Michaels at the very bottom. So there's no doubt in my mind that the same people that are doing SmackDown are the same people that are doing NXT now. I mean, for sure. Can I just go ahead and leak the NXT rating for this week? Wait, it's gotta give credibility away. To add additional, wait, what you're saying. Wait. This week's NXT episode with Jordan Grace and Zarya and all the fucking shit that they did, 588,000. It gets worse. That's what you get for sucking indie cock. You fucking big nose dumb shit. It gets worse. AEW this week Dynamite had 628,000. 40,000 viewers. Yeah, AEW had more than 40,000 viewers. They lost to AEW. They were beating AEW for 3 weeks in a row. Hey, the streak ended. What? That show deserved the rating that it got simply because of the fact that it had really only a couple interesting things, and they had to do with the women. That's really only one of the good things about NXT right now is the women. I will say that they're trying to fuck it up a little bit. Don't get me wrong with Zarya and adding Jordan Grace into the mix, but